Guru, anti-guru, no guru. This is a video about the question if you need a guru at all nowadays. Hello, this is Shores of Infinity, Chris speaking, with a video about if you need a guru, a spiritual teacher nowadays. There have been and still are hundreds of gurus out there, thousands probably. There have been a few anti-gurus and still are, like Jiddu Krishnamurti, U.G. Krishnamurti, and Jed McKenna and David Kars. Thank you for liking and subscribing to this channel, by the way. Thank you for giving me a thumbs up if you like the videos. So, do you need a guru? What for? That is the question. What for would you need a spiritual teacher? Because you have to find your own path that suits you. You cannot walk someone else's path. But someone else can nudge you in the right direction sometimes or give you some encouragement. This doesn't have to be a official or professional teacher. It can be anyone who is a little bit ahead of you. In spiral dynamics terms, for example, if you are centered in yellow and someone else is centered in turquoise or coral, then he or she can give you valuable advice or just encourage you, telling you what you're going through right now is totally normal. Just let it go, let it unfold, don't interfere, don't worry, everything is okay. But I wouldn't call this teaching. Anyone can do it. Anyone who is really a little bit ahead of you. That can be very helpful. Or you can ask questions, and just asking the question will already bring you something. You don't even need an answer. Yeah, this is a service that many so-called teachers or anti-teachers offer, like Tony Parsons or Paul Morgan Summers, Liberation Unleashed. I also offer this, but I don't consider myself to be a teacher. There's no point in teaching, actually. Because a real teacher, it's a relationship of interdependence. And this is not something you need on the spiritual path. So people who consider me to be a little bit ahead of them, I'm happy to give some advice to them, or be a bouncing board to their questions. It's not about me answering the questions, but just you writing them. You putting them into words and the question will come, the answer will come. Yeah, first the question has to come. Yeah, first have to find the right question, of course. A really nice bouncing board is Liberation Unleashed, the website. Really nice. And for those who are attracted to the Advaita method, you can just write to or phone Tony Parsons. That works also. At least he used to offer this. Sometimes I recommend this to people if I meet someone who I consider to be on the same level or ahead of myself. Then I tell them I cannot assist you. Please ask someone else, like Tony Parsons, for example. But I'm always very careful with people who like to sit on a stage and like to be celebrated and adulated and worshipped. And there's so many of them, Sadhguru, Eckhart Tolle, Adyashanti, Gangaji, and whatnot. Why are they sitting on a pedestal answering questions? Like Osho used to do. Osho was the big stereotype guru. And the nowadays Osho is Sadhguru. What for do they need to be worshipped? I have no idea. But I can tell you that they won't solve your problems. They won't walk your path for you. They won't carry your luggage for you. It's okay to ask for a fee for a meeting because time is valuable. That's not the issue here. Unless it's just too much. There are some of these manifestation gurus who ask 10 or 20,000 euros. That's probably over-exaggerated. But to ask for a few bucks, why not? If you go to a concert or theater play, you also have to pay entrance fee, and people have to pay rent for the room and whatnot. That's not the issue. But why sit in front of everyone? Yeah, like a teacher, like in a teaching situation in school or university. It's not about knowing something. It's not about knowing something. It's not about teaching a theory. It's about walking your talk. It's about living something by example, showing something by example. And as I said before, being a bouncing board to questions. Or giving encouragement in difficult times. This is normal. Like I've been saying many times, if you go through coral and feel like shit, that's normal. Don't worry, it will pass. But you don't need a guru. 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 Stop running after people and going to workshops and this and that, looking for questions and answers. It's all within you. You have to find your own questions that matter and your own answers. No one else can do this for you. No one else can solve your problems for you. Because it's your delusion. It's your inner dialogue. You created them and you have to stop them by yourself. You have to stop believing that you are an entity, that your narrative, your story, your history is an objective occurrence in a linear space-time. Someone else can tell you this 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times, and you say, yeah, right, sounds really good, but you have to do it. No one else can do it for you. And in religious contexts, it's even more difficult. Like people go to a Tibetan Lama, for example, and listen to his or her teachings and doing meditations and throw themselves onto the ground, reciting mantras and whatnot. Yeah, but that is someone else's path. And for how many people has this worked already? You look around in these big groups. For how many people has this worked already? How many people have woken up, or to how many people has enlightenment happened who have followed this path for years? Usually not many or zero. To follow a teacher in the West usually leads to either expectations or disappointments, or both. The tradition on which the teacher-student relationship is based is either shamanism or something like an Indian Swami order, meaning people who have renounced the normal life. Now, in shamanism, you choose a very different route in life. You totally commit to whatever your teacher tells you to do to become a shaman and have access to other reality. Same in a Swami order or monastery, you just do what you're told. And there's a method behind the madness. It's not about authority, it's about practicing surrender. First to your teacher and then later to the divine or to the universe. But in the West, usually we do some kind of holiday teacher-student relationship. Yeah, we will follow this person as long as the message suits us, and then that person, and so on. And this can become a dangerous tool of spiritual bypassing by saying, well, I do follow this or that tradition, so I am walking the spiritual path. Well, actually, I'm avoiding it by not doing it properly, by not doing it 100%. But even if you do follow it 100%, you also don't have a guarantee. The only guarantee that you have to arrive at enlightenment, if such a thing is possible, for enlightenment to find you, is to delve deep inside, to do deep diving and find your own spiritual path. And even then, it might not happen in this lifetime. It's not a bargain or a barter that you say, I will do 1,000 prostrations and 10,000 prayers and 100,000 recitations, and then they will allow me into the club of the enlightened people. No. Plus, enlightenment is hugely overrated. Yet those who arrive there are very, very surprised what it actually is, because it is very different. It's very different from mystical experience, which is what is usually sold as enlightenment. Enlightenment is similar to having walked around blindfolded all your life, and suddenly someone is taking off your blindfold. Suddenly you can see much better, but it doesn't change much. It doesn't change the external circumstances. It just changes your relationship to them. Because now you can see it for yourself and not just listen to hearsay or beliefs. So what is a nice thing is to have a group of people of more or less the same caliber, and then you can support each other. And some people will necessarily be a little bit ahead of others. And this can be very useful and fruitful for and to everyone. But to follow one teacher like some kind of celebrity or big boss and hope you will be like he or she someday, that's a waste of time and has a huge potential of spiritual bypassing. So remember, you don't need a teacher, you need to look inside. Thank you to all my Patreons. Thank you for joining me as a patron, liking and subscribing this video and this channel, and sharing the videos with your friends, and see you soon.